Hey, Sam, are you able to see our phone screen or no? Oh, you're not? Okay. We got a call from Tom in South Carolina who wants to discuss what happened in Seattle with Jim Florentine and the other comedians. I didn't know if you could see it, so I want to go to this call. I just didn't know if you... Are you aware of what happened or no?
No, not at all.
Where
I'm
they
calling
got...
to find out.
Oh, Tom, I was actually asking Sam.
Yeah,
I didn't pick up the call.
Who picked up the call?
Who picked up the call?
Okay, well, surprise.
Oh, hold on, Tom. Who picked up the call?
You pick up the call?
None of us touched it. I didn't touch it.
Oh, I didn't touch it.
None of us picked up the call, and all of a sudden it was through.
Yeah, I did
Hello.
it. I've got special powers.
All right, well, congratulations.
Maybe.
Yes, Tom, what was
Put him
your...
on hold? I can put him back on hold.
No, he's okay. Yeah.
He's here now.
Yes.
No,
I think Troy picked him up by mistake.
So do I.
Yeah, of course.
I don't think I did, but maybe I did.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he did.
well, if anybody, I would blame Travis. If we have a multiple choice of who to blame, I would choose Travis.
God damn it.
Well, I'm sorry, Trav.
I mean...
And it's probably C. I would pick C, Travis.
Yeah. Yes, so what were you... yes, Tom, what did you want to discuss?
My question is, well, what happened with all the woke folk up there?
Oh,
Or have you heard?
Oh, yeah. I don't know if there's been any... There's a club in Seattle. Can you see the name, Travis? I'm blind. It's on that giant thing.
The club that canceled them?
They canceled Florentine.
Capitol Hill.
They canceled... Did they cancel Dave
Gomez?
Smith?
Dave
They
Smith,
canceled
Louis J.
Kurt
Gomez,
Metzger.
Kurt Metzger and Florentine.
Lewis.
And Gomez.
And Lewis.
Lewis.
So they canceled these guys because the club owner said that she had gotten apparently blowback. Like it's a very again, the word salad is getting overused, but it's a very word salady jargon.
But Jim, their values didn't align.
I mean, yeah, values aligning, members of the community, other artists, like just all these mealy, soft words.
Big word salad.
It's a big word
There's
salad.
a lot to eat here.
But it's obviously a pretty small club, I'm assuming, and she was probably getting a lot of shit from people about booking Lewis and Dave and Kurt and Jim, and she just buckled to the pressure. I guess she panicked. Because it probably wasn't her personal beliefs, or she wouldn't have booked them to begin with. But I understand.
Or did no, had they been there before?
Oh, I don't know that. I don't. You might know better than me, Tom. I don't know. I know that Florentine got put back on. They reinstated his shows. My issue isn't even with her.
A different place.
I think it's a different place.
Yeah, I think.
Is it a different place?
I think a different place picked up his shows.
It might not even be in the same area.
Oh. Because it's so crazy that, like, what the fuck happened to progressive people? Like, I'm not saying the conservative ideology is great, but like, you guys are like don't want comedians to perform because she said that, like she mentioned, and other comedians, you don't want certain comedians to perform because you don't like their outlook on things. Like, comedy is bothersome to you if it offends progressive ideology. What are you, fucking crazy? I was stunned, man. Like,
it's always the extremes.
Yeah, I know, but for comedians, especially other comics, to go, hey, these guys, if she weighed in with other comedians and they said, hey, they shouldn't be here in this safe haven for whatever the fuck they said, it's disgusting. I mean, I remember years ago when we did Tough Crowd, the pilot for Tough Crowd, it was, I want to say November of 2002, and the show, the first, I think the first one was myself, Nick DiPaolo, T-Shawn Shannon, and Janine. I think Janine Garofalo. And I remember how much Nick and Janine liked each other. And they were friends, and they had respect for each other, and they were friends off camera, because I think they had done HBO Young Comedian special together. You can't get more opposite in belief systems than Nick and Janine Garofalo. But they had a respect for each other, and they liked each other. And it's just crazy to me that comics would want to see other comics not be able to perform somewhere because they don't align, and they want to brand them as something as evil just because they don't align with their current set of values. It's disgusting.
I mean, they weren't there to give a speech on some sort of topic. They were there to be funny.
I know, exactly. And the speeches are boring by everybody. Who cares? I don't care what a comic's opinion. What is the politics?
So, I mean, you can't listen to somebody, give a 2-second joke.
It's crazy, dude. It's insane. I used to love Paul Mooney. I agreed with about 13% of what he said. There was maybe 87%. I was like,
lot.
that's shit. That's not true. OJ's not innocent. You know, I know he didn't do it. But he was hilarious. Who the fuck cares? Who cares if I didn't like it? You know what I mean? Like, if I could do that.
Well, I
Who
mean,
are
it's
the
boring if you just hang around
Jesus
somebody,
Christ.
Sam, we got this.
like your shadow.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Tom. We appreciate
Well,
it.
no, thanks for clearing that up.
Okay, buddy. I don't know much more than you do.
Well, who are the comics? You said comics didn't want them.
She didn't say anybody's name. She simply
Local comedians.
And I don't care what the reason is. Yes, Mike in Florida may have more on this. I just don't know.
Mike, welcome to
Mike.
the show.
Hi,
Sorry,
Sam and Jim.
Hey, buddy.
Hi.
It's funny, the story came out, and I was reading it. There was somebody that they quoted in the article is an Asian trans comedian in Seattle who was saying it was a very good thing that they canceled all these guys because their ideology and the stuff they joke about isn't funny. But if you look the girl up, her name is Juno Men. But if you look up her material, it's just all her talking about being transgender and everybody else trying to come to terms with it. It's the most shockingly hypocritical thing I've ever seen.
You know, anytime, I'm not familiar with Juno, but anytime any comic is saying what another comic, where they should be performing or that it's good if they're not allowed, it's almost like, hey, you don't have to like what Jim or Kurt or Dave or Louis say. You could think that they're terrible, but like, do you not want to be able to perform in certain places in Texas because they don't like trans? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you can't think that way. You can't think that way. You have to just allow everybody to do what they do, and they should all be free to do it in every club as long as people are willing to pay to see it. Dave or Jim, you just keep mentioning those four. None of those guys are evil guys. None of those guys are bad guys. You know what I mean? It's not like they're out harming people. They're just doing jokes that some people find objectionable. It's fucking crazy. It's crazy. I mean, I talk about my fucking wife. I do it in Texas. I don't change my material. I don't care if they're uncomfortable with it. But you think I don't feel a light pullback compared to New York when I talk about certain? Of course I do.
You do.
Of course I do. But that's part of the joy of it, is like knowing that they're sitting there hearing this and they are laughing and I'm taking them the way I want to take them. Like, do you understand what I mean? Like, you don't always have to be in agreement with the audience for you to have a successful show. They don't have to agree with you to enjoy what you're doing. That's part of it sometimes. Somebody polar opposite comes in and it kind of humanizes somebody else, another point of view, even if you think their point of view stinks.
Yeah, I think it's almost besides the point whether they agree with you or not. Like I can't imagine going to a comedy show and going like, oh yeah, I went to see this comedian last night.
Why?
And
You've been to them
like,
before?
Well, you didn't let me finish.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, apologize.
No, it's okay. I understand how the beginning of the sentence was confusing. You're right. I have.
Yeah, I'll get you in if you need to. Yeah,
no,
I'll get you tickets.
No. That's
Okay.
not what I can't
Apologies.
imagine. You didn't let me. No,
Sorry.
it's all right. It's all right. No, it's probably my fault. But I can't, like, going to a comedy show and then leaving the show and the next day telling your friend, like, oh, yeah, I went to this comedy show last night. And your friend going like, oh, did you agree with him? Like, nobody would ever ask that. That's not a conversation. They go, oh, was he funny? Oh, was she funny? Oh, you know, should I look up this comedian because they make you laugh? Not, oh, how do they stand with your beliefs?
Right. And if somebody goes on stage, right? I mean, look at how Bill Hicks made his living. I mean, did Bill Hicks need a crowd to totally agree with him? I mean, you know, if a comic goes on, right, and they're so egregiously offensive to the people in the room, they'll have a bad show. That's how that works.
That's right.
You will
That's
go
right.
on and have a bad show, and the club won't have you back because you're simply not getting the laughs you're paid to get. But if people are willing to pay to see these four guys, and they are, all four of them, then who's anybody to say where they should work? Like, how dare anybody say it? It's a crazy thing. People wanting to control what other people say. You think people don't say shit that I fucking hate? I mean, or that are offensive? Or of course. We get it all the time now, especially in the comment section. But it is what it is. You can't fucking, you know what I mean? You can't control people. It is what it is. You just, you don't have to like it.
Wouldn't the club know that this backlash maybe it's a young club, I don't know, but wouldn't you realize that there'd be just a huge amount of backlash? Like this is, I mean, it's happening the same time that Shane Gillis is hosting SNL. Like clearly, just because there's a wave of outrage, it doesn't, number one, speak for everybody, and it doesn't mean anything. It means that there's a group of people that are upset. Okay, there's a group of people that are upset. All right.
I can't comprehend somebody not being asked to not work at the Comedy Cellar because of their views. I can tell you this. I know for a fact that there are comedians who work at the Cellar whose political views other people who work at the Cellar find repulsive and are the polar opposite. And those people are still getting work, and those people are still on the schedule, and as they should be. Like it's literally, it all has to be, all the different discussions have to be allowed. It's just really there's no excuse for it. There's no real reason. There's no for the greater good. It's just it's pure narcissism. You don't have my point of view, so you should not be allowed to come here and perform your point of view. It's insane. Because people are going to do it to you. Like if you're trans, especially, do you want clubs in like certain places saying, "Nah, we don't like that point of view here. We're God-fearing people." I find that to be just as disgusting. If somebody would say that you can't talk about gay marriage in a positive way, or you can't talk about it because we're God-fearing people, that would be just as repulsive.
But logically, if you said this person that's against this that I believe in, they can't say that, because I don't want that point of view out there. Then when another group came to you and said, okay, well, this thing that we believe that you don't believe in, you can't say it.
Yeah, this is the language. Again, this is, hey, if people like this place, go to it. I'm not saying don't go to it. The Capitol Hill Comedy Bar makes comics, and this is in quotes, adhere to the code of conduct, which outlines expectations for respectful behavior and language, helping to create a safe and welcoming space for both comics and guests. I mean, that's that fluff, jargon-heavy language, where everyone's going to be comfortable here, and if you're a comedian and your jokes don't go hand in hand with our belief system, then you're not going to perform here. This is not saying we don't want you to go on stage screaming the N-word at somebody. That's not what I'm saying. This is if you're against gay marriage or I'm just using that as an example, you should be able to go on stage and joke about that. And if the joke is good and people laugh at, well, then hey, congratulations. You took a subject that no one in that room agreed with and you made them laugh at it.
And what's the code of conduct in a comedy club? Like, shouldn't the code of conduct really just be don't heckle?
Sure, it's hate speech.
Yeah, but hate speech, everyone knows the difference between joking about, people are saying the jokes are hate speech just because they want an excuse as to why you shouldn't be able to tell the jokes, but it's a lie. I mean, again, I wouldn't want to work there. I wouldn't, it's just, they probably wouldn't want me, but the point is...
You mean because they're a comedy club?
Yeah, and they basically want laughs. And I think it's more important, Sam, for me to get up there and teach a lesson.
Yeah. We're sorry, we're going to have to... I would love it if they canceled your show and then you started an outrage campaign about how you were being censored, and they had to clarify that it was just due to a lack of tickets.
It was lack of ticket sales, but he's welcome to say whatever he wants. He's welcome to perform on the open mic.
It doesn't make sense. It's not cost effective to open the doors when he's in town. It doesn't. We don't make any money.
But progressives, congratulations. You are the fucking housewives of the 1950s. You have turned into the repressive conservatives of the 50s. So all the people you complained about hating and all these people that forced their belief on everybody, 50, 60 years ago, you are the exact same person as that. That's what you've turned into.
Yes, you've joined them, because it's not to say that the hyper-conservatives have stopped. But they have their own. It's a different set of things. But they have their own set of things.
They do, yes, but they're not as quick to, like, I can't think of any clubs canceling people for having political opinions, which is true diversity, that they don't agree with. I'm not saying that they're not shitty about it, but I can't think of any clubs in Texas or Alabama or whatever that are canceling comedians for being gay. I mean, maybe that's happened and I didn't know it, but I just think they're less likely. They're just as likely to criticize you and to shit talk you, but I think they're less likely just to say, well, we got some complaints and we're not going to have these, If it's happened, hey, I'm just not aware of it, so just crazy. Yeah. So anyway, Jim's shows have been rebooked. I thought it was there.
No, he
somewhere
rebooked
else
at the Tacoma Comedy Club.
Oh, good. All right, good. I'm glad you clarified that because I read that and I thought it was there.
No. Right. However, Jim, they do value the art of comedy and hope that they can find a way to work together in the future under different circumstances.
That's why I think that this person just got a lot of pressure. Like, I don't want to attack the club owner because I know she's probably in a shit position of like, I'm hearing all this stuff. You're a small club. You're not part of like the improv chain. You're a small, club, and everyone there is just so hyper progressive, which is not about progress at all. It's about the same. Policing of thoughts as, again, the fucking religious conservatives. Yeah, it's the same thing. They're the same people.
So crazy.
You are also religious people. So if you want to attack religious people, you are also religious. So she's in a shitty spot. Imagine your own comedians. I mean, I guess if you could get away with it, but...
And that guy who called about Juno Man or whatever is right. She did say that this makes her want to work with the club even more.
All right, well, that's okay, great. Sick. If that's the environment you want of a club that gets rid of people who are disagreeable, that's unfortunate.
Right, but the owner says that they did it to maintain the harmony within the community.
Ah, okay, good. At least it wasn't just jargon-heavy dreck. Yeah.
Yeah, here's the problem is that you're probably right, Jim. There probably was a bunch of pressure, like, locally in the town. And there were probably a big-time local comedy club. And there's, comics that might be, because, I don't know any of these comics on a national level, but locally, they might be like, okay, that's kind of our bread and butter locally. Let's not upset them. Okay, so we'll buckle the pressure. This will all go away. We'll just cancel those shows. And probably didn't realize that, but if you cancel the shows, then it goes far beyond the town. Well, now it's a national thing. Like, now these comics are publicly saying this is what happened. So now you have people way outside Seattle talking about this comedy club that nobody would have ever talked about before for bad reasons.
They did it to Chappelle even, like in Minnesota. If you remember, these whiny progressives complained to the theater about his stance on trans things, and they moved his show. It's just so fucking crazy that people just want that conversation shut down. That's not how you do it. You go up and you give a better point of view. Go up and give an alternate point of view, because your point of view, there's plenty of people that do not like your point of view either. And to say that you shouldn't be allowed to perform in certain clubs if you're going to sell tickets is fucking insane. Yeah. But whatever. Anyway, I'm glad you clarified that, because I thought it was... anyway, support Jim and Lewis and Dave and Kurt and any gigs that they book in Seattle, because, it's just not right. And people would have come out to see those guys. They all have followings. It's not like they're these unknown guys. They're people who would have brought in their own audience.
Well, yeah, they said they had to refund tickets, so obviously tickets were sold.
Yeah. Mike, this is Mike again. Mike knows all about this. Hi, Mike. How you doing?
Sorry,
once a day.
I'm
That's
back,
all right.
Because I wanted to say this, but this is in the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, which many people remember as the Chaz during the pandemic. This is not people who actually want comedy and want to hear funny things that they might possibly disagree with but are funny. They're in an echo chamber, and they only want to hear people who think like they do.
Oh, okay. Is that where the police weren't allowed in? Are the police allowed in now?
I don't know.
No, I would imagine they dismantled it, but this is still that group of people.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's like a bunch of kids playing like a fort, like they have a fort, and then all these businesses in Seattle
You're not
close.
allowed in here.
But they complain when the businesses close. They call the businesses racist for leaving. Like, I mean, the insanity. I don't.
This woman, Juno Men, the comedian, she's not an actual comedian. She's just somebody who wants to go up and talk about her life and have people who think like her be like, oh my God, that's so brave of you to say that, and it's mildly amusing. Like, she doesn't want to go to Texas and have a bit or have her routine because she knows that it wouldn't play there. She wants to play to the home crowd.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know her, but I just the rule is the same for all comics. Like, you really do have to realize there's going to be a lot of opinions that you find repulsive in stand-up, and sometimes you're going to be on the show with those people, and that's just how it is. Like, if you go and you tape the Tonight Show or whatever, 1995 example, but
boy.
you don't choose the guests you're on with. You don't get to choose if you go to LA and you do the Improv or you do the Store. You don't get to choose the fucking, hey, I don't like what Bill Burr said. I can't be on the show with. You just can't do that. You have to go up there. And anyway, thank you, Mike, for the call.
Yeah, love you guys.
Yeah, that's probably like, look, we all as people want people we don't like to shut the fuck up. It's part of it. I mean, of course. But it's just a very dangerous way to think. But whatever. Hey, I hope those guys all book their shows in Seattle at the other club and people support them.